Doo 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 ba doo doo. Dilia ba 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 doo. Dee dee ba ba ba. Waiting for people to show up. Good morning. Going live with board games and minis. Gleep boop boop ba da. Do boop be doo ba. Gleep beep beep ba da. Bum bum. No. 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 My goofball cat. Not really my cat, it's Sabrina's cat, but trying to climb up here with me. Oh, so sir. Okay. We're 2 minutes in. Alright, so we got a 5-minute warning. And then we will start showing my face. Because that's what we do to get ready. Is up. Tap. Oof. I have shared. Thanks for watching. I don't know who you are, but I'm about to go live. I'm holding it down a little bit because my girls just went to bed. That's why they call me the Big Bad Nerd Dad. And then we will be busting out the board games, the miniatures, and talking about our charity events coming up over the next few weeks. And the brand new charity that we are starting. By we, I mean me and my lovely wife. Beep beep boop boop. Womp. All right. We've got 10 seconds and then we'll go live. Thank everyone for joining that's already here. 2. And we're back. Ta-da! Hey everybody, thanks for joining up. Ooh, is it just me or do I look a little orange? Fix that real quick. Fix up the lead too. That's not that bad. Just the way my screen looks. So today I am very excited to talk about a new board game that I picked up. We've been playing Resident Evil 2, the board game, regularly. We got to play Catastrophe this past Friday night. It's a fantastic game. It's not mine. My buddy Joe has it, and it was a Kickstarter. And it's this really cool game where you play as different aliens that are trying to get off of a ship that's being bombarded by comets. And so you're trying to figure out which escape pod works and to make your way to the escape pod. It's really cool. We've been playing some Zombicide, which I thoroughly enjoy. And then over this weekend, I was able to pick up the newest Tiny Epic game. So Gamelin Games is a company that makes these really cool Tiny Epic games. And they come in all different sorts of flavors, and it's really neat. I have several here with me that I will show you. We have Tiny Epic Pirates. It's still in the shrink wrap because I'm a monster. I just don't get to play all the games that I want to play, but I want to get them so that I can play them later. So we have Tiny Epic Pirates. Yep. Tiny Epic Tactics. Eventually I'll open these on the stream one of these days. We have Tiny Epic Mechs. And one game that is open is Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. And this is absolutely one of my favorite worker placement, resource management games. It's super cool. Everybody's in charge of their own little dinosaur park. And you're trying to get certain dinosaurs and breed certain dinosaurs and make your park appealing. Keep your dinosaurs well fed while making sure that you're maintaining boundaries between each dinosaur enclosure. And it's a lot of fun. It's super simple. It's so neat to just sit down and like the box isn't that big at all. Like I can hold it in one hand. The game box isn't that big at all, but that's what Gamelin Games specializes in. It's great big value in tiny boxes, and they have dozens of these Tiny Epic games. Like I just pointed out, Tiny Epic Pirates, Tactics, Mechs, Dinosaurs, Zombies, Tiny Epic Zombies. One that I had been hearing about a lot about recently, and it just came off of their Kickstarter, because they kickstart a majority of the games and then they go to retail. If you kickstart the game, the Kickstarter game comes with the base game, an expansion, and usually a special Kickstarter promo expansion that you can only get from doing the Kickstarter or from meeting them in person at like conventions and stuff, which is really cool, right? That's a neat thing that they do, is they offer it on the Kickstarter, and then if you can meet them at conventions, they'll have some of these Kickstarter expansions available. So today we will be showing off Tiny Epic Dungeons, and I am super excited about this because I am a huge role-playing game fan. I'm just going to read you the back of this box so that you can sort of get a feel for what the game is like. And it says, Tiny Epic Dungeons is a cooperative game split into 2 acts. In both acts, players struggle against the waning torchlight as it decreases each turn. When the torch goes out, the heroes are forever lost in the darkness. In Act 1, explore the dungeon, fight enemies, and evade traps in an effort to find the boss's lair. In Act 2, engage in an epic battle against the boss. Can you brave the dungeon and overcome the boss's fury? So, I'm not real big on competitive games. I really like when I sit down to play board games with other people, I want it to be cooperative. I want to have fun. The Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, although it's competitive, there's very little interaction between players, aside from like worker placement where you can place workers down where your opponents wouldn't be able to do it. But other than that, there's no direct dealing with the opponent. It's making decisions that might not allow them to make certain decisions. And I enjoy games like that. And then there are other games that are much more competitive. But this is a cooperative game that I definitely want me and my gaming group to try out. And that's why I was able to get my hands on this Kickstarter copy of it. I'm going to crack it open in just a second. I've already cracked it open while I was at work so I can see the contents because I could not wait. So we'll be cracking this open, and then we will also be opening this expansion. The expansion is called Tiny Epic Dungeon Stories, and it comes with additional minis. I'll be opening this tonight as well. It comes with additional minis and additional bosses and additional content for the standalone. And again, the expansion is not even half the size of the original box, so I'm probably going to end up 3D printing a cool case for both of these things to just set in there and make it look like a treasure chest. What's going on, Brady Brown? Thanks for watching. So with Tiny Epic Dungeons, boop, boop. Let's crack this open. It's a very neat little box. It's got this really cool UV coating on it, so you can see some of the parts of the box are shiny and smooth, and the rest of it has a matte finish, so the box looks really good. The art is always incredible. Like, they spare no expense. They pay good money. When you pay for a Tiny Epic game, you're getting a real gaming experience. It's not just because the box is small doesn't mean that the game is lame. Oh, look, even the inside of the box has cool art. An adventurer going into a dungeon. Oh, the rules. That's how simple the rule book is. Again, they spare no expense. They tell you exactly how to play the game. These are all the components that are inside this box. 8 miniatures, which this is the first time, aside from Tiny Epic Pirates, where they have little pirate ships in there, where they've had like these plastic resin minis. And I absolutely love them. When I show them to you, they're amazing miniatures. Like you rarely ever get good minis out of a board game. Like usually the good miniatures come from like a miniature company, Privateer Press, Steamforge, Cool Mini or not, you know, they're gonna have good miniatures with their games. So yeah, the book, the rules book. You flip through it, it's kind of nice, kind of pretty. We will not be playing today, but I do plan on playing this for the 24-hour stream coming up next Friday. Not this Friday, but Friday the 27th. We'll be doing a charity stream for the Full Heal Foundation. The Full Heal Foundation is a gaming charity group that runs charity events. So they'll throw wargaming tournaments, board gaming tournaments, just great big get-togethers where people can get together and play games, and they'll get special promos, promotional items, and gifts from the gaming companies to give out to players that show up. I'm actually going to show the miniatures last because they're so cool. So back onto, oh, and look at this. It gives you little other games that are in there. So Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. Again, Tiny Epic Dinosaurs is my favorite Tiny Epic game. Tiny Epic Pirates. This is the game that came out right before Tiny Epic Dungeon. Tiny Epic Tactics. I showed that just a second ago. That's a game that I want to play. And it's cooperative, competitive, and you can play it in solo mode. Which is something that I found that I'm wanting in games now, is for it to have a solo mode. Sometimes my wife is too tired to play games, or we can't get a group together. This gives me the opportunity to play games at home on my lunch break at work. And these games, the Tiny Epic games, are very, very well done. So I'm excited to crack this open. So you can see these are monster cards and abilities. Again, the art is second to none. I have to get custom card sleeves for these guys. But so there's a little stabby goblin. Another stabby goblin. Ooh, a boomy goblin. Pokey goblin. Like, these are all just special items. Ring of the Phoenix. So this is supposed to play out like a role-playing game, right? You choose a character, you give your character weapons and items to equip. You fight monsters. There'll be oozes. Ooh, a troglodyte. Minotaurs. I'm not going to show everything because eventually we'll get to the bosses, and I want to be surprised when I play this game. A staple of most Tiny Epic games are going to be the meeples. Meeples are little wooden or plastic gaming pieces. And again, these are second to none. Nice. Well cut out. Now you gotta look at my big old rough hand, but get the picture right. Gabo. Goblins, and there goes the troglodyte. Minotaur. So they got really nice meeples. I have no idea what these giant cogs are for, but I'm willing to bet it has to do something with the dungeon. Ooh, the ooze. If you can't see, the ooze has like little shields and swords and a skeleton inside of it. Really neat. And again, Tiny Epic has something for everybody. They've got these different flavors of games. The dungeons, again, my favorite is Dinosaurs. So we started out with Tiny Epic Kingdoms and Defenders. Oh man, I think we've been playing these for like 6-7 years now. All these different Tiny Epic games, and they keep coming out with more and more and more. In fact, there's a Kickstarter for one right now, Tiny Epic Vikings. So if you like Vikings, it's supposed to be a really neat worker placement, territory, area control game, right? Vikings, you think that? That's what I think of when I think Vikings. Area control. Oop, almost lost the heart. Nope. I'm definitely going to print something, 3D print something out to put everything in. Dice, because we will obviously be rolling dice. And these are nice dice too, like they're a little bit on the small side, but it makes sense because of the Tiny Epic style, right? They don't want to take up too much space, so the dice are smaller than normal size dice. They just, you know. So that's really cool. Nice dice. Not just like these are specialty dice too. You need these specific ones for the game. Or I guess maybe you could use regular dice. Just memorize the sides. So like I said before, with the Tiny Epic games, if you buy it from a gaming store, which I highly recommend, you'll get the basic version unless the game store orders in the deluxe versions. And the deluxe versions will come with a promo expansion. So the promo expansion for this one, I think it's called Potions and Perils. And it comes with extra monsters, extra items. Let's see. I'll just read off the Potions and Perils card for you. It says, legends say that before the evil took root, the abandoned dungeons was home to a brilliant alchemist. Working in peaceful darkness, she created magical elixirs that heightened body and mind until the Overlord invaded. She stashed her creations away in the far reaches of the dungeon. Her final hope was that intrepid explorers would discover her potions and use them to vanquish the foe. But beware, she imbued perilous curses on her hidden hoards to keep those weak of will away from her powerful gifts. So a Mixie Lab dungeon card, 2 new boss mats, so 2 new bosses, 2 new boss tokens, minion cards, new goblin cards, potion cards. And then this is the rules for the mini expansion. So again, really, really neat. Very excited to play this game, add the expansion in at a later date, right? And everything's all nice and neat in these little packages. And then these are the boss monster cards, I believe. The bigger cards are boss mats. So when you play against a boss, so the game can be played multiple times. Having just the base box gives you 6 different bosses to fight against. And again, I haven't learned the rules completely, but it gives you the options to change it up. Look at that, the dragon. The Hydra. Look how beautiful that art is. Amazing art. The Goblin King, I definitely want to fight that guy. The Pharaoh looks like a mummy. Ooh, the Gorgon. The Seer, that's obviously a eye beast. A wink wink. Oh. Cool, half-orc barbarian. Oh, these are the player cards. All right, so these are getting into the different players. So as I show the different player cards, I'll grab their miniature. Throwing this stuff all over the place. So, Grokul, the half-orc barbarian. Right. So something you may not realize is these miniatures are actually extremely good. Like, I was amazed when I saw these miniatures inside of the Tiny Epic box. Like, no joke, these are very, very well done miniatures. The details on them are amazing. I can't wait to paint them. They are smaller than normal miniatures that I deal with. Show you for reference. Here is a miniature of me for when I play modern type games and I want to play myself, because I'm that vain. So it's a little bit smaller in scale. So normally the games would be, this is a 28mm model. This is probably a 25. It's just a little bit smaller. Hold them next to each other, you can barely tell. But for them to put this level of quality miniature inside the game, I was astonished. That's a really, really nice, well done miniature. Therna, the elf sorceress. Again, another beautiful model. Keep doing that. Bloop. Drop this just a little bit. Ew, there we go. Better lighting. And again, look at all the detail in that miniature. If you're unfamiliar with miniatures, this is a fantastic job. Like, it's a very small miniature. There's great detail. There's plenty of space for you to, if you are a hobbyist and you like to paint, this is a beautiful miniature to paint. And it will not be that hard, even though it is small. You can barely tell, but since I've been playing with, like I've been dealing with miniatures for years now, there are mold lines, very, very fine mold lines. Usually on other miniatures, you'll find a decent amount of mold lines and you'll have to clean them off. There's very few mold lines on these guys, and very little flash, extra plastic that escapes through the mold line. Ulissa, the Dwarf Cleric. There you go. The female dwarf. Again, great detail, very small miniature, very little flash. The mold lines are almost not present. Love it. Absolutely love it. Who's next? Win Khalees, the Elf Ranger. So this is the elf with the bow. We had an elf sorceress, and now we have an elf ranger. Man, that's really nice. That is a nice ranger model. Like, if they're small because they need to fit into the tiny epic dungeon box, but I would even say you could use these when playing actual role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, Tiny Dungeon, which has they're not in cahoots with this particular tiny epic dungeon. Who's next? Moonblade, the Wood Elf Rogue. Looks like a female with a ponytail. That'll be this one. A dual wielding rogue. Very little flash. The mold lines are only apparent in a few places. And because the mold lines are so hard to see, that'll make it extremely easy for us to clean them and prep them tonight. Because I do want to clean and prep these models and get them ready to paint. Whether I paint them or I get a volunteer to paint them, we will see. I don't have a lot of time on my hands these days. Sir Lennon, the human paladin. That right here. Really neat. He's holding his helmet, just like in his character card. Again, I'm literally going to prep them a little bit. Shave off the mold lines in a few spots. Clear the flash. Alright, and then Garun the Blue, an ancient sorcerer. Another thing too is these models are made out of a really nice plastic instead of like resin. If it was resin, that staff would just break right off. It's made out of this flexible plastic, which is a very smart move. And then last but not least, Thornton Firebraid. Thornton Firebraid. He's a dwarf fighter. Alright. Again, beautiful miniatures, very well done. I was pleasantly surprised when I saw these guys were part of the game. Like, miniatures in a board game this size. Crazy to me. Crazy. And they're great quality. I mean, the game itself is $35. Put everything back the way I found it. Right, so all that stuff that I pulled out goes right back into the box. Just as they had it. Nope. Again, I'm going to have to get some custom card sleeves to fit all the components, because I want to make sure I make this game last. Because I love a cooperative dungeon crawl game. Alright, fold that up. Put it back in the box. Refit this. There we go. There we go. Manual on top. This is what my minis came out of. We'll just put that right back for right now. Boop. Everything fits in nice and neatly. Box lid closes. Beautiful box. Philip, thanks for watching, bud. Be sure to give me a like. Say something on Twitch or Facebook. I needs it. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up the expansion while we're here. And I have not looked into this expansion, so y'all will be opening this with me. Blind reacts. I believe that's the phrase. The phrase that pays. Blind reacts. So, Tiny Epic Dungeon Stories. This is just an expansion, not a standalone game. It says right there. Boop. You need the base set. I believe this is $15. See if I can open it up. Alright, there we go. So this comes with eight new heroes, 8 new hero mats, 12 new loot cards, 2 new boss mats, and minion cards and tokens. health, enemy health markers, and objective tokens. So what does it say? What does it say? The back of this one says, the heroes huddle around the campfire, comforted by its warmth, but weary of the dangerous woods that surround them. Journeying to the Goblin's Coast from lands across Ockmore, each adventurer has a story to tell to their new acquaintances. Some are here for fame and glory, others for coin, and some have more nefarious motives. But for the moment, these unlikely companions are allies. Agreed to face this daunting task together. Enter the dungeon, defeat its boss, complete its quests, and save the world. Great. Oh, another cool thing. It'll actually tell you what size card sleeves you need. So, none of the cards in the base set are generic card sizes, like playing card size. Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, all those board games, all those card games are generic. Oh, neat! A little map. And something I haven't looked into is if all the games are connected, like story-wise. Do they take place in the same realms? In the same realm? But this has its own pretty map, the Phoenix Ocean. So maybe they do, maybe they don't. New tokens. I'm not gonna take them out of the bag. Ooh, Mighty Goblin. All right. And the other minis. So let's get this thing started. A cool looking knight. Ooh, our first bard. Sure, that's a support character. Looks like a spellcaster of some sort. Ooh, he looks evil, but he probably isn't. A necromancer. They're good necromancers. Oh, a big burly bear man. And he's got a big old drink in his hand. So he's supposed to be like a Pandaren from World of Warcraft. Here goes a monk. A monk of some sort. This is some sort of adventurer. She looks like Indiana Jones. Possibly a ranger. Using this humongous whip. I don't know how big whips are in general. And then what looks to be like a druid. She's got furs and she's got a bird in the hand, or a butterfly in her hand. So, ew. Oh, he's a bad guy? Bad guy? Yeah, the Tinkerer is a bad guy. Womp womp. So we'll go over their cards. The Tinkerer. The Mind Lasher, yeah. Them's bad guys. Oh, he's a warlock. I said he was a necromancer. He was actually a warlock. Clotho the Human Psionic. Oh, so a mind mage. Ooh, I'm gonna butcher that. Zui Chong? Zui Chong? It's a Pandakin Brewmaster. Of course. Laura Gambit, a human adventurer. Oh, Sir Gamelin. He's the Gamelin Knight. Pretty cool that they put him in there. Guardian of the Order. Evelyn, a Dryad Druid. Yep, Nelia Songhart, a Halfling Bard. Kind of tall for a Halfling. Zazili, a human monk. And then back to the bosses. So again, very happy with this overall game. I got the expansion, the base game with the Kickstarter expansion. They call it a mini expansion, but it'll add quite a bit of depth to the game. The adventurer manual in here. And then now we've got 16 miniatures for us to clean and prep the next bit of time, while I'm going to talk to you about our upcoming charity event. So I'm back. I'm very excited about this upcoming charity event and the charity itself, because it's something that my wife and I have been working on for years now. I started running charity events back in. Oh, let me dim this light. I've been running charity events since 2009. Yeah. 2009, 2010, when I first started doing an event called Food Machine, where I would have a bunch of my friends get together and we would collect food for the Houston Food Bank. Over the years, it grew and grew and grew, where in 2015, we put together a humongous food drive that involved the gaming club up at the University of Houston, and we took in like $7,000 in cash donations, several large truckloads of food to be donated directly to the Houston Food Bank. We had a little over 700 attendees. So we had 700 gamers in one spot, not all at one time. Like throughout the day, they came and went, came and went. But we had role-playing game tables for Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, Savage Worlds. The event was originally just for wargamers. I would hold a wargaming tournament for the wargame War Machine and Hordes, hence the name Food Machine. And we got quite a few people to come in for that. And then as the event grew and grew, I was like, let's expand it. We can get more players. We can get more people into this. And it's what I'm really passionate about. Gathering the community together for local causes is something that I'm extremely passionate about. The Houston Food Bank, the Star of Hope missions, Wounded Warrior Project, like Texas Children's Hospital. For the past 3 years, 2020, last year, this year, I had been partnering with Extra Life, and they're fantastic. They help your platform get to a bunch of other people, so that they can see what you're doing and see what's going on. And I think it's a fantastic charity, but they only donate to the Children's Miracle Network, which is great, right? There's nothing wrong with the Children's Miracle Network. They help hundreds, thousands of children's hospitals across the United States. But I want to do more, right? Like, raising money for Texas Children's Hospital is fantastic, but I know that there are other causes that need help. Mental health awareness, foster families, just things in general that are local to the community that they don't get a lot of attention, they don't get a lot of support. The Houston Food Bank, that's something that a lot of people, and our events are made specifically for gamers, right? Like, it's hard to get a gamer out, to go out and do things, but it's not hard to get a gamer out to game. So if you get them to go out to do charity work by gaming, we're going to hit a multitude of people, right? It can be a small entry fee. It could be canned goods, dry goods to be donated. We may do... Yeah, Joe, of course. You're always invited, Joe. We could be doing... donate a blanket, donate a backpack for kids that are for underprivileged children that need school supplies, that need school clothes. There's a multitude of charities that need help that aren't getting the public eye's attention, right? And that's what the Full Heal Foundation is going to be doing. It's going to be bringing those smaller charities into light, to be bringing mental health awareness, this practical physical health awareness, making sure that if you're a woman, you're getting your checkups regularly. If you're a man, you're getting your checkups regularly. Dental health, making sure that you brush your teeth every once in a while. These things all add up, and they're things that we as gamers can easily do, right? And in the past, we've had hundreds of people show up to these events and hang out, play games, donate money, donate food, donate time, just straight up volunteering. I want to do blood drives. I want to do clothing drives. I don't want it to be just set on one particular thing. Again, I love raising money for Texas Children's Hospital. I've been volunteering for Texas Children's Hospital since I was 15. So going on 21 years now. And I just know that the Houston community has so many more needs that we could fill, that we could help out with. And there's people that want to do that. They want to step up and volunteer or donate, but they're looking for a different opportunity to do it, right? So what's more important is to reach people in an avenue that they understand, that they like, that they're willing to do, right? Thousands of gamers across Houston would gladly come out for a tournament that's free to enter. It's just building awareness for a cause. I keep using mental health, but there's other things that we could do. I'm still looking into the Wounded Warrior Project. Is something that I would like to work with. The Star of Hope missions, working with them and the families that are in need. There's local smaller missions that could use help. Like I'm familiar with one called the Door or the Angel's Grace, which are homes for people that have been battered or that are in need financially. And there's always going to be a time when somebody needs help, and we can definitely step up and help with that. Like that's what we're here for as a community. So I want to give gamers that outlet. I want to give gamers the opportunity to step out and do it, because we do it from time to time on smaller, much smaller basis, right? We'll go out to conventions, or we'll go out to events for gaming, where you go out and you meet a couple of your friends. Well, what if you go out to a larger event where there are hundreds of people playing a game that you like? Because there are hundreds of different games out there that have organized play rules, that have organized play opportunities. Marvel Champions, Arkham Horror LCG, the new Marvel Crisis Protocol. That's a tabletop war game. It's blowing up. People want to get out there. Up in the Killeen area, they used to have Clash for a Cure. I don't know if they're still doing it, but it was guys that would get together and play War Machine or Warhammer 40K, or the Kill Team, like these different war games to raise money for cancer research. Exactly, Joe. Who doesn't like gaming and helping others while playing? Who wouldn't, right? I mean, there's hundreds of board gaming groups across Houston right now that are just meeting up on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights. Me myself with Joe, we'll head out on once a month on a Friday night, guys' night, and we sit down at Board and Brew Games right here in Humboldt, Texas, and play some games together. Just relax, sit down around a board game. Resident Evil 2, I had talked about it at the beginning of the stream. Just relax and play games. We could easily set up a Resident Evil 2 board game campaign day, and then have a group of people try and get as far as they can through the game, and whoever beats the game first, whoever gets the furthest, wins something at the end of it, right? I have a laser cutter, I have a Cricut, I have a 3D printer. The Aegeus Creative Company, one of our sponsors that are right here, constantly making us things to give away, constantly, right? We have the ability, and we have the resources to do it. Now is the time to jump in on it. Now is the time to make our move, especially with the pandemic backing off, right? Stay safe, social distance, but still get together and play games. Keep it safe. Wash your hands. That's what we're going to start moving forward with, is these live events, getting together, playing all those games I listed before, plus King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo has an organized play. Dice Masters, Hero Clicks, they're there. They are. Well, that's Space Cadets Gaming. Space Cadets Gaming is another sponsor of the stream that holds charity gaming events. Right? They're big. They donated to our Extra Life last year, right? Because they believe in helping out the community. Well, Texas Children's Hospital is fantastic. I want to help them, but there are other charities that need help in the Houston area, in the greater Houston area, in Houston, in Kingwood, in Katy, in Sugarland, Stratford, Tomball, like all these outer areas that need us. We can be there for them. We can meet the needs of the people in our community. sometimes it's not as hard as giving your money or food. Sometimes it's showing up, playing a few board games during the day, and then taking a shift of volunteer work, donating blood, right? Just your time is all they need. And we can do that. And I plan on doing that in the future with all these different things that we've got going on. So I'm very excited to start this Full Heal Foundation to bring awareness to the community of different charities and missions that need help here in Houston. To be working hand in hand with the Houston Food Bank again. To be working with Wounded Warrior Project. Maybe a few more local hospitals, cancer research at MD Anderson or Memorial Hermann. Working hand in hand with the Houston Zoo. Who knows? Who knows what opportunities lie out there for us to get together, play games, and do something for our community. I mean, there's thousands of charity groups out there right now that are looking and hoping to find people that are wanting to work, that are wanting to donate. And why not do those things and have fun? That's what we're going to be working on over the next few months, is getting the Full Heal Foundation up and running, holding events starting this November with a food drive for the Houston Food Bank. And we'll do a few other smaller events in between now and then to gear up for that, and get people excited. But we have the manpower, we have the capabilities to do it, and we have people that want to do it. Like, it is going to be an awesome time, Joe. It's going to be a fantastic time. It's going to be a fantastic time of fellowship. It's going to be a fantastic time of volunteering. And it's going to be a fantastic time of coming together as a community. That is what I want to do with the rest of my life, is I want to bring the community together to help. There's nothing better than fellowship. There's nothing better than helping where you can help. Helping where you can help with what you can do. I can play board games. I can run role-playing games all day long. It's another thing that I'm passionate about. And if I can make money for charity while doing that, cream cheese. Joseph Freeze, thanks for watching with me. We're just cleaning these minis up. I just did my little spiel. And I will finish cleaning a couple of these miniatures up. I think what I'm most excited about is the fact that this is something that I've been passionate about for so long, and we now have the ability to do it. Like, taking time out of my schedule is real rough for the past couple of years. We have a 4-year-old, we have a 2-year-old. Me and my wife have been married for 7 years now. This is our year 7. So, like, we're getting our life together. Very exciting times. My wife is passionate about it as well. Like, she wants to do these things. She loves getting together and fellowshipping with people. She wants to help out charities. This is a family thing. I don't think Lulu and Mimi understand just yet, but I know that they love gaming. Lulu loves to paint miniatures and pretend. She likes her Hi-Ho Cheerio. Shoots and ladders. We play a game called Dice and Monsters. So Joe, I know you just popped on. I am working on the miniatures from the Tiny Epic Dungeon. Both the base game and the expansion. So between the two, base game and expansion, we've got 16 characters to choose from. And I think it's only a 4-player game. One to 4 players, so you can play it in solo mode. But 1 to 4 players, takes 30 to 60 minutes, and it's a little dungeon crawl, sort of like Descent or Arcadia Quest. So you get this your little group of adventurers. You go into a dungeon, you start clearing the dungeon looking for the boss. Once you've found the boss, you engage the boss and then try to win before your torchlight goes out. Very neat, simple concept. You know? One of the things that I love about Tiny Epic games is that they're good games. Like, they're not just small, cute to look at, simple games. They're actual board games in a very compact. Which, if you think about it from a development standpoint, that's how most games are prototyped. You don't have all these big old pieces and junk all over the place. You have cards and little buttons or pieces of wood, baubles to represent different things. And then you slowly build from there until you make giant, huge games like Gloomhaven or can't remember the name of that Viking game that everybody likes so much, but there's a big, huge Viking game out. It has a ton of pieces. Speaking of Vikings, the next Tiny Epic game is Tiny Epic Vikings. So that's going to be pretty neat. It's a resource management area control game. So right up my alley. No, not Feast for Odin. I feel like it's not Ragnarok. Man, I can't remember. Blood Rage. Blood Rage is the game that I'm thinking of. Oh, I already did this one. And I've cleaned most of these guys up. And again, when I say I cleaned most of them up, very few of these miniatures needed to be cleaned or worked on. And I always say it, when you're cleaning your models or you're using a knife, always go away from you. If you go towards you, you're going to slice yourself up, and nobody wants that. Oh, Joe, check it out. So one of the characters that they brought in for the game is Sir Gamelin. And if you look at him, he is actually their little mascot. Look at that helmet. He's their mascot. Oh man, they got all kinds of stuff. Look. A panda. A panda with a tankard of brew. He's a brewmaster. He's a pandakin. Not Pandaren, a pandakin. A warlock. A bard. Cleric. Psionic, so a psychic. An adventurer. Wizard. Dibs on the panda. A half orc. Barbarian. Fighter. our knight, our paladin, knight, druid, another paladin, rogue, our brewmaster. I think he's a support class. Our sorceress, our ranger, and a monk. 16 characters to choose from? That's ridiculous, like crazy to me. So the cliff notes on the game is very simple. You and 3 other players go into a dungeon. The dungeon's played in 2 acts. In the first act, you're looking for the boss. You're uncovering parts of the dungeon, looking for loot, right, to equip yourself for the final boss. Knocking out little creatures in there. And then once you find where the dungeon boss is, the second part of the game happens, and you're trying to knock out the dungeon boss. You have a timer, which is your torch. So if you get through too many torch turns, the game ends and you're lost in the darkness for the rest of the game, forever, right? Your characters are dead. And that's basically it, right? It's a dungeon delving game. You and your friends try and get through the dungeon as fast as you can, while getting as much loot and stuff as you can. I haven't read the official rulebook. That's just the way the back of the game presents itself. But you know, the base game came with 8 characters. The expansion comes with 8 more characters. No. There are 8 dungeon bosses combined, so 8 different adventures for you to take. A whole slew of little dungeon monsters for you to fight up against. And with the mini expansion that comes with the deluxe version of the Tiny Epic, there's even more loot for you to find. So you can throw special loots and curse certain rooms. So if you step into a room and you're not careful, bam! Yeah! And another thing too is these miniatures are phenomenal. I said it before earlier in the stream, but as a wargamer, you know, I come across tons and tons and tons of miniatures in all my gaming, and these little miniatures that they've given out in this Tiny Epic game are phenomenal. They look great. They are very well made. They're made out of this cool plastic, so it's flexible. They're not like resin miniatures. The ones I just brought out were resin miniatures. So if you tried to do this, they would just snap, just like that. Bloop, done. And it's rough, right? You want to be careful. But yes, lots of minis, lots of cool stuff. And I can't wait to play. It's definitely going to be a game that we bring out for the group to try. Maybe try it on a guys' night. And since it's got a solo mode, when I do 24-hour streams and everybody passes out, or we can't get people to come out late night, early morning, it's one of the games that I can play by myself. Like I plan on playing Tiny Epic Zombies by myself for the 24-hour stream coming up, because there's a couple of 4-hour shifts where people are just going to be asleep. I'm sure my wife's going to want to sleep. Joe and Hannah will come out, but they can only stay for so long. Alex Alley-Oop will be coming out to play some games, so I'm very excited to have her out. But they can't stay for the whole 24 hours, right? You know, James says that he's going to come out and stay for the full 24 hours, but I don't think he's ever done anything like this before, and it's a marathon. This will be my 4th time doing it. I'm really excited to get back in there and stay up another 24 hours and actually, you know, The last time I did a full 24-hour stream, I stayed up. The time before, the 2 times before that, I started falling asleep in those twilight hours. But I've learned. I'm ready. I've got a better setup. I'm ready to go. So that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you so much for watching. I've had a great time talking about Tiny Epic Dungeons, what we'll be doing with the charity stream, the new Full Heal Foundation charity that we've started, and will come to fruition throughout the rest of the year. We're working on our 501(c). We're working on it becoming a legitimate business so that we can give out tax deductible donation receipts. So when you donate to us, it's actually something that you can use as a tax deduction, like real charities, because we want the people to get the benefits of donating to our charity, right? So that our charity work can multiply and people actually want to give to us. Super excited. Thank you very much, Joe. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I can't wait till we have... Joe's one of the guys that I do my game nights with, my guys night with. He's there for game nights and guys nights. So we have a guy night coming up pretty soon. We're going to finish out the Resident Evil 2 board game campaign A. So once we finish that, we're going to take a break, play something else, and then jump back into another Resident Evil 2 campaign B, where we're going to stomp it again. But thank y'all very much for stopping by and giving me a look and a listen. Please like the stream. Please share the stream. And the next time you see me, next Monday, I will have more info about the Full Heal Foundation, links for you to go to so you can donate, and then check out and see what we have planned for the rest of the year. So thank you very much. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. And walls ahead, rubble behind.